welcome back. David, do you know what you're in store for here? Do you know how we start the second segment here?
I don't, no.
Listen to the episodes. Well, this is a segment I like to call the Dad Joke of the Week, and it's brought to you by Golf Trip Junkie. Ian, you've had a lot of these, so you know where this is going. I was running out of golf jokes, so hopefully I can skate by on some cold weather themed ones. I'm doing this because I was on pretty thin ice with Ian, but hopefully, Ian, you don't flake on the rest of this episode. So I'm going cold weather themed. If you guys didn't get that,
I got it.
The Dad Joke of the Week is brought to you by Golf Trip Junkie. The theme for this year is 2024. Never played there before, and Sean at Golf Trip Junkie is the guy to set you up both with that bucket list course, or maybe just a budget trip of some great courses in a location you haven't been before. So make sure you check out our link tree under Book Your Golf Trip and hit up Sean at Golf Trip Junkie. Now, the Dad Joke of the Week. So, what's Frosty the Snowman's favorite food?
Ice cream. I don't know.
Burritos.
Unreal.
Oh, God.
Burritos.
You're unreal.
Yeah.
Ice cream. Come on, bro.
That's a dad joke right there. I'm going to share that with my kids.
I did some writing this week, Ian.
You did. The intro part. I was like, this is new. This isn't the normal Tucker, start. So there you go.
I'm trying to be less lazy, and as mentioned, my child was screaming at the top of his lungs. So if I could pretend to be working longer, my wife would then have to deal with that. So
we've all been there. We've all been there.
We've been there. To draw it out a little bit further. So David, you're a guest, but what we like to do in these episodes, like these top 5 episodes, is did you ever watch Seinfeld growing up at all?
Yeah, I watched episodes here and there. I never really grew up with television. Child of the 80s, so it was always playing outside. But I used to have those rabbit ears, so I used to watch a little bit or go to friends' houses and watch it. But yeah, all in all, I enjoy Seinfeld though. The jokes are hilarious. I actually really like Larry David. He's a brilliant mind.
So there's the episode called The Deal where Jerry and Elaine talk about like how to come up with rules to be friends with benefits. And like they have this conversation the next Jerry does with George the next day where like he goes, the first rule is like no calls the day after sex. And George is like, I really like that rule. So what we try to do is just have an open conversation about some of the things of like the 5 things you would do right during the winter to keep your game sharp or right even get better. And I know Ian's a little, we'll put him a little bit to the side in this conversation because it's 73 degrees in Orlando, but let's start with, David, what are maybe some of the things that you do around the house when you can't necessarily make it out to the links?
Yeah, well, I moved up to Montana 3 years ago, so this never was an issue because coming from San Diego, like Ian, we didn't have an off season really. It was cold in the morning. You didn't play in the morning. You played in the afternoon. That was about it. But I typically
Montana's a different story.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was negative 21 today.
Oh my god!
Perspective.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was wearing my glasses
Brutal.
to let my dog out this morning, and I couldn't see out of my glasses because it just like instantly froze. It was wild. I've never had that happen before.
That is insane. There's nothing on this planet that can make me do that.
Yeah, it was a record on the mountain. They had negative 63 degrees with wind chill. So we've got a local mountain that posted that it was a record for Montana.
That's crazy.
Jeez.
That's
your
cold.
eyeballs squeeze out, really.
That's colder than my wife's heart. That's crazy.
To circle back on practice, for me, it's getting to the simulator. We have simulators in town, and being able to utilize the technology in there that shows your club face. It's got the video. It's full swing. It's the simulator that Spieth uses and Tiger uses and John Rahm uses. It's really impactful to see your club face coming through. Obviously, getting your spin rate and all your information is key. And if you don't have the means to go to a simulator all the time or have access to one, obviously just practicing indoors. Our golf product allows you to practice your putting with the channel, and you can really shave some strokes off if you practice your putting. And I know nobody likes to. That's why you see less people on a putting green, which it should really be flipped. Less people on the range and more people on the putting green, because you really do shave strokes by practicing. And if you can practice indoors, get a mat. There's all kinds of different mats that you can utilize.
So I'll float this question to both of you. Now, David, we've talked about this on another episode before, and we've come to the understanding, and I don't know how you feel on this, but hole-in-ones on simulators do not count. They're fun, but they don't count, right? Now, that's not my question. My question is, if you're at like one of those simulator bars, right, and you get a hole-in-one, do you still owe everybody drinks?
I think it's to the discretion of the golfer. I think if I did that and there was a minimal amount of people, I might buy everybody a beer, because it's just kind of exciting in general, right? I think you're still going to get that same adrenaline rush that you would get if you got a hole. I still have yet to hit a hole-in-one, so I don't know what it would feel like, but I can imagine that would still feel similar to what you would feel on a real course. So, I mean, I think it's up to the golfer. But I mean, who made that rule anyway? I think the person that makes the hole-in-one should get rounds of drinks. It's like, I think there should be a switch there. I don't know. It just seems a little bit unfortunate.
I've never understood that. I've never understood that rule either. Like, why am I the one who has to buy all y'all drinks when I'm the one that did it? That's crazy.
Agreed.
I think for me, like you said, I think it definitely depends how full that bar is. I would 100% buy anyone who was with me drinks. Like, not all night, just I'll buy them around. But I ain't buying the whole bar around for a simulator hole in one. That's just me. So unless, like you said, there's like 4 people in there, fine, whatever. I'll include them. Why not?
Yeah.
But this guy lives in a different tax bracket. Maybe he's got a different thought process.
No, I agree. I think it's one of those things that it's like when you do it, like you kind of freak out and it's fun and it's exciting. So like you'd be like, all right, let's get a round of beers, right? Mm-hmm. But like you wouldn't be like walking around to people and be like, I think it almost gets lame where you're like, hey man, I just made a hole-in-one on a simulator. Can I buy you a beer? Like I'd be like, sure, but okay, like, dude, just go away. Like, why are you celebrating this much?
Just hit this 7-iron, 161 yards. There's a little 3-mile-an-hour wind up the left. Like, dude, it was on the screen. Relax. Probably drop the F-bomb. Yeah, you got to edit that one out. Yeah, you got to edit that one out.
There. We'll wash it out with my humble brag of Ian's never seen me make a hole-in-one, but he has seen me make an albatross. So
nice.
He's a witness to that. I got all of them except a 1 on a 4, and I don't hit it past 250 yards. So the 1 on the 4 is probably never gonna happen. But no, Ian, anything that I know it's nice down there, but I'm sure you get rainy days where you can't get out and play golf, or you have kids around the house and can't do it. Is there anything you do around the house to help keep your
I think every Floridian's probably done this at some point in their lives. If you like, when I grew up, like I don't have one now, but when I grew up, we had a small pool, and you put if it's raining or whatever, you just put the little mat in the pool, and then you chip from the patio onto the mat. You can do that anywhere. You don't have to be. It could be snowing. You can just do it in your house as long as you have the little mat to hit from, and then the little balls and blah blah blah. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, it's not the real ball. It's not this and that." It's like at the end of the day, your club face still has to open and shut. It's going to go somewhere, right? And so that's almost as important. The putting thing is big. I think you can have fun putting anywhere. again, a lot of people just get so hyper focused on the fact that it's not the real game, but you're still doing the things. You're still having to use feel. No matter what surface you're on, you have to use some sort of feel for that. So for me, it's the chipping thing. That's what we would do especially when it was raining. But, other than that, that's it. That's all I got.
I hate that attitude of like it's not the real game. For me, I've always been like, if I can pick up a golf club and do something with it, like hit a ball at some target, like I've always just enjoyed that. Like who cares if you can't go play. Like I used to get in debates with Spen and Sweeney all the time, the academy, Ian, because they would be like, well, you only played 12 holes after, like, you can't judge how you're playing golf on 12 holes that you stuck out after work. And it was like, well, I'm still playing like golf. It's not
exactly.
Yeah, it's, not everything has to be 18 holes of grinded out slog stroke play for it to be quote unquote golf.
I'll tell you what I used to do too as a kid. I would take tennis balls and I would play golf because if you hit a golf ball or if you hit a tennis ball with your golf club, it still kind of flies the same way. You'll know if you were late or whatever into impact and stuff like that, but it only goes 100 yards, with a 5-iron, right? And I'm sure later on in life,
the same distance as a golf ball for you though?
Buddy, you have no say in this argument, buddy. But I think you can do fun stuff like that because even if you hit a house or whatever, it's a tennis ball. Like, relax, it's not going to do anything. So that's another fun thing we used to do as kids. Just play play between different yards and just play make believe holes. You can do that, especially with your kids. Just get a tennis ball and it flies further. So probably messes up the club nowadays, but it was my mom. My mom bought me the clubs in those days, so I didn't care.
David, when you were in San Diego, even if like it was nice out but you just couldn't get to the golf course, were there any things that like you did that like Ian's talking about, like chipping in the pool or hitting a tennis ball or something like that was just something to do with a golf club?
No, just exaggerating golf swings inside the house. When my kid was really little, I would hit those little plastic red and green, and like it's basically little ball pits that I would hit those balls. When he was really little, I was chipping into his little basket. It was a little basketball basket, and I was chipping in. I was recording it, and I finally got one in. It was across the living room. It was just like the most fun just to do that because he was still crawling around and still trying to figure it out.
Round of milk for the house.
So excited. No balls in the house yet.
No, that would actually. We have a little playpen thing. I think if I did that with all filled it up with like one of those old McDonald's playpen things, and then took a couple out and shipped them in, I think you might actually have fun chasing them down.
Mm-hmm.
Of just seeing him fly through the air. We'll see. Either that or my wife will yell at me to stop hitting things at my small child. I actually have one of. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. So a couple of years ago, I bought this thing that has like a training grip, and it's just this fan, right? And it's got it's a 4-sided thing, but it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. It's only 2 feet. So you can swing it and you can't make contact with anything, obviously, but it's really slows, it's really, really hard to swing it. And I'll just sit there in the garage or something and just take 25 swings with it. And it burns you out. It's really, really hard to do, especially at high speeds. So I love doing that. And then I don't know if you all do any I've always found mirror work to be really beneficial this time of year, right? Grip posture alignment of just getting in front of a full-length mirror and just and if you're really, really into it and you're a crazy person like me, if you take masking tape and you actually put on your lines of these are the areas that you want to be, you can start working on consistent setups and stuff like that. But I'm nuts. So, I don't know if you all have ever done that.
Tucker, how do you do all these things and your swing still crap? It's inexcusable. I don't touch a club for 7 months.
It's because I'm a head case, dude. Do you see that 2-iron on the simulator the other day?
I'm just messing with you.
Actually, it was last year. But yeah, no. Ian's right. I work way too hard for my game to be this bad.
We all do.
Well, so let's narrow some of these down. I think simulators we can, if we're looking at 5, I think simulators is obviously on that list,
100%.
right?
100%.
David, I want to talk about your product a little more in the next segment because I think like putting in the house is always great, but like I think the one thing people always do is they don't putt with purpose, and like, you know, their house floor breaks a certain direction, so they get used to like, oh, I think I'm hitting straight putts all year, but they're really like right to lefters, and then they get out on the course and they're like, why am I missing everything right? And I think your product certainly helps with that as well. That chipping mat I think is ideal. So what do you guys think the last two should be here? David, I'll let you go first. I'll let you vote for one, and Hambino vote for one because I list off 3 that I thought was good.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you on the grip, right? That's you know, the fundamental of golf is being able to get your grip right. So anything that helps you get your grip in the right alignment is very useful, and it doesn't take a lot to like keep practicing your grip. And if you have a tool that will allow you to get into the right position, it just becomes muscle memory after a while. And I had to change my grip last year. And it just went a little bit more strong, and that was so awkward at first. I just kept pulling it, and then until I figured it out. And then I was like really hitting well with the new grip. But you know, it's being up here now and having a shorter season, like you really like just focus on one thing. Like we're in San Diego, I was always messing with my swing. But with the short season, it's just, you know, figure out one thing to work on. And I think that's been a huge benefit, and, you know, it's really helped my game.
Yeah, I think
the only thing to, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. The only way to fix the grip change, man, is to literally just sit on your couch with a golf club in your hand and just sit there and re-grip and re-grip and re-grip until your hands are tired, and then put it down. Like it's football season's the best for a grip change because you can literally just sit there on the couch for like 6 hours and sit there, re-grip, 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 right? It's, might slow the food consumption down. That, you know, the reason that Ian needs to be on the carnivore diet slows down the nacho intake
basically
a little bit.
Yeah.
But what about you, Ian? So we're gonna go grip change, and then I'll let you do the last one and take us home here.
Yeah.
Bud.
No, I just want to add one little bit on the grip change thing. It's something that I see so many amateurs fail at. You know, if you're listening to this, like if someone tells you to work on a grip change, it feels awkward to them. They try like 4 times on the range and they're like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like, no, like the whole point of a grip change is it's not going to feel comfortable. And like you guys said, you know, especially you talk, like you're sitting in front of a TV, just keep working at it. Because I see so many people just give up and go right back to their horrific grip because they're like, oh, it doesn't feel right. And I don't want to waste this day. Well, don't waste the day. Go use your crappy grip on the round today. But when you go home, I want you to go back to feeling that. Too many people give up on that, and it's really like the first thing that could fix half the people that you see complaining about, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Almost half of it is grip, stance, or posture. It's like almost always starts there. For me, it was mirror work. I think you mentioned mirror work, right? That's so important. I mean, especially because I assume, you know, if you're in a cold weather climate, you're stuck in the house a little bit more. You're probably watching different people playing golf or different people teaching stuff. And you can, you know, I don't see a ton of people like doing that kind of stuff on the range, right? Whether they're self-conscious or whatever it is. But when you're at home in front of a mirror, you can really like look at where your hand position is, or where, you know, what it is that you're trying to work on. And I think that's so beneficial if people take the time to actually do it. So that has to be my thought on it.
Awesome. Well, let's